What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Coast to Coast Network and welcome back to GMs for Hire. If you didn't catch us, this is our second time on the network. We're a little bit new to the thing, but we've been doing this show for quite some time. So we're just getting our feet wet out here, trying to get live experience and trying to come talk to some of the people out here on the Coast to Coast Network. But we got the same three group of guys that we had last week. We got myself, Jamil King. Jamil, how you doing, my guy?
Feels great, man. Woke up back-to-back champs. It doesn't get any better than this. City of Tampa's going crazy. I need my Rays to be next.
I bet you do. The city of Tampa is thriving. If for anybody who doesn't know, all three of us went to college in Tampa. Two of us are still in Tampa. One of us, being myself, has taken off, but we are still fans through and through. We are here for the Tampa Bay Lightning Stanley Cup party. And that brings me to our next gentleman, Mr. Matthew Perry. Matt, how's it going, brother?
It can't be going much better. I mean, it's a great feeling. Back to back. I can't say I didn't see it coming, but it's nice to know that they came through when they needed to. I'm on cloud nine with it, really. I mean, there's no better feeling than winning.
Man, it feels absolutely insane. And I figure we just talk a little bit about some hockey today. You know, we got some other kind of stuff that here, because there's people like this. There's people like this. City of Tampa got lucky. You're psycho. It's okay, Brandon. Shout out to your Wild for not making it. It's okay. Hey, it's, you know, we were happy to see you there, but you got to make it there to start talking, pal. All right, listen. You're talking to the back-to-back champs now. You can't be calling us flukes no more. All right. So why don't you relax a little bit? But yeah, I figure we just talk some hockey. Obviously, the Stanley Cup just got done. All of us being Lightning fans definitely makes it easier for us to talk some hockey. But to talk about, let's just go overall experience first. You know, we've been hockey fans for a while. Take me through. Because I feel like a lot of people haven't been to hockey games, and I don't know, you know, obviously I'm sure there's differences between going to a Canadians game, going to a Jets game, and going to a Lightning game, but there's nothing like a hockey game in my opinion. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's probably my favorite sport to watch live. So Jamil, let me just ask you, just to start it off, do you have what's like some of your most iconic like hockey moments as a fan? What do you like? What are some of like the best things that you remember as a fan going to hockey games and everything such as that?
My best memory as a fan going to the game, there was one time, man, I somehow got some solid seats behind the glass, like 10 rows up. We're playing the Washington Capitals. Obviously, it's a good game, two good teams. But to sit there and watch Alex Ovechkin hit one-timers from the high slot, like how Stamkos does off the left circle, it's really something crazy. It's really cool to see the great players because they really do move different. Like you really see how fast a guy like Connor McDavid is. You see how hard of a shot Alex Ovechkin has. But you're talking. Will, you said how their favorite experience is at a hockey game. You know, for me, I go to a lot of Bucks games. I go to a lot of Rays games. I go to a decent amount of Lightning games. But yeah, it definitely is. You definitely feel the difference at a Lightning game compared to the other two, I will say.
I think I don't know if it's just the atmosphere. Like I know the city of Tampa. I think like whenever it comes to football fans, like football fans are well versed in a lot of areas. So like you'll have Cowboy fans everywhere. You're gonna have your Packers fans probably everywhere, stuff like that. And baseball fans is similar. You know, you see a lot of. I know Cardinals fans travel very well. Red Sox fans, Yankees fans, but I think hockey is a little bit more of that like centralized sport. And I don't think you get too many of those hockey fans. So once you get into a place like Tampa and the team is actually good and the whole city rallies around the team, it's a completely different atmosphere. And if you didn't catch the game, like I'm sure a lot of people didn't, but if you don't catch the game, you know, and you realize how loud it gets in there, and I mean, it's deafening, and it's only 18,000 people, but it's all indoors. It's all encapsulated. It's a completely different thing. It's so different from everything else. But Matt, I'll turn it over to you. What were some of your like greatest memories all time as a hockey fan? Just going to a game.
I mean, there are plenty of great memories I have from Lightning games. A couple years ago against, I believe it was the Kings, when Vasilevsky made that save kind of behind the back. That was on highlight reels for the rest of the season. I was able to see that live. I've been to a couple playoff games. I don't know if I've seen a playoff win, if I'm being honest. I'm at least 0-2.
You can't go back. Nope,
Yeah.
you're done.
I got
You're done. No disrespect though, but you're done.
Hey, I mean, I went this season. We still wound up finishing the job, so I'm cool with that one loss.
You only go to game once.
I went to the first round matchup against the Florida Panthers this year. They lost 6-5 in OT. Very exciting game. Very anxiety ridden. I was throughout. Playoff games are a lot for me sitting on my couch, let alone in the arena. It is, like Will said, a very unique atmosphere, one that you're not going to find at Tropicana Field or, many baseball stadiums, depending on the moment. You have the lights, you have the sounds, sometimes there's smoke, you have the Tesla coils if you're at Amalie Arena. Atmosphere is very important to adding to a game, tension, adding a build or anything like that. And Amalie Arena does that really well. So really any Bolts game you go to, you're going to have a unique experience, and I've had plenty.
Absolutely. I mean, whenever I think of let me get to some of these comments really quick. Shout out Brandon, said win 3 in a row and then get back to me. But then he also came back and said, being honest, congratulations to the Lightning on going back to back. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Brandon. And congratulations to the Lightning from Christy Wilson. Hey, there we go. Some love finally, because everybody on social media just sits there and attacks us. So it's nice to be the good guys for once. But no, I think my greatest memory, and I don't know if a lot of other stadiums do this, but there's and I'm sure you two guys have done this. Student Rush. Student Rush at Amalie is a completely different ball game, and people watching at home who don't know Student Rush, you show up before the game, and you get a wristband based off of when you show up. And then you pay $20 and they just give you whatever seats left in the house. Anything that wasn't sold out, they give you seats. And if they run out of seats, they give you standing room. And I think there was a season in which I went to 24 games and 22 of them were from Student Rush. And it's just such a cool atmosphere because you can end up right behind the bench. You can end up all the way up at the nosebleeds. Will's got to learn how to pronounce Amalie. Yeah, I understand. I say it wrong, but it's fine. Amalie makes me happy. I don't care. But it is what it is. I've always called it Amalie. I don't know why. But yeah, no, it's Student Rush has always been a cool thing. But I remember there was one game where I got a Student Rush ticket and we were right behind the bench and right behind the Lightning bench. And it was against the Hurricanes. We were down 1-0. And going into the third period, and the team was walking back, and Nikita Kucherov looked right at me, and granted, I was banging on the glass, so it kind of made him look right at me, and I looked up, and I was like, "Hey, you scored 2," and he just looked up at the scoreboard, turned back, and he just gave me a thumbs up, and he came out in the third period, scored 2 goals, and we won 2-1. I was like, holy crap. That's like the most memorable thing. Obviously I had nothing to do with it, but it was like, holy crap.
Tell yourself you got the win, man.
Oh my God. Yeah. You had to go home. I'm like, it's a good thing I told him that he wouldn't have done it. But it was so dope to be able to see that. And it was just such a weird game that I remember. And then my first game, obviously, I don't think anything beats your first game because you realize just how different the sport is in person. When you watch hockey on TV, everything seems so slow. Everything seems just like it's taking its time. But once you see how quick everybody's changing, everything's just happening so quick. People are on the ice for a minute, they rush right back off. It's phenomenal to watch. It's unlike a lot of sports. Will Polson just has that type of power. You're not wrong. That's the bright side of things. Obviously, Tampa going back to back. City of Tampa in general is thriving right now. It's going very well. Shout out Jamil, big fan of all the Tampa sports teams. Big Tampa Bay guy out there.
Check me out right here. We got Rays, we got Lightning, we got Bulls. I said that backwards, but we got going on. We're rocking with all three. I said that backwards. We're rocking with all three.
How's that feel? How's that feel to be in a monumental spot right now for all your teams?
I'm telling you right now, if the Rays win, I'm going buck wild. I'm going stupid. Like, y'all are going to see me, like, going crazy down the streets. I'm going to, like, sprint from here to Mississippi to you, man. I'm just going to be running. It's going to be crazy. But I said this before. I'll say it again. Everybody's like, oh, man, we're glad those teams are winning because, man, for a while, we weren't winning anything. The Rays were bad. The Lightning were decent. The Bucks weren't good at all, really. And now to have every team be good at the exact same time, it's literally crazy. It's like how Boston was when they had all their stuff going on.
Yeah, that's true. It's now RJ, the other member of GMs for Hire, shout out him, who has yet to make an appearance. He's a very busy guy when it comes to work. He's mentioned that one more championship, and this might be the most successful 2-year run by a city. What do you guys think about that, Matt? I'll start with you. If Tampa can pull off a World Series or another Super Bowl, do you think this is probably the most successful 2-year span for a sports city?
I feel like it would have to be. You add all that up in almost every major sport. I mean, who knows what would happen if we had a basketball team? I mean, the Raptors weren't good this year, but I think that it takes some getting used to being in Tampa. But no, it would really be magical if the Rays and the Bucks both were able to, back to back for the Bucks, and the Rays were actually able to get that World Series ring. Especially, it would mean even more since it's their first ever. But then you add what USF has done with their athletics, the underdog run that USF baseball made this year. Women's basketball won the conference. Women's soccer. It's really amazing putting it all together. I can't think of many cities. Jamil said Boston's run a couple years back that have been able to put it together this much. Because what Boston did was cool, but I feel like what Tampa is doing could potentially transcend that. So it very well could be the best run ever from a sports city.
Jamil, before you talk good on your team a little bit, Brandon's coming for you again. Your Bucks aren't going back to back. You can bet on it.
Okay.
Okay. That's it. Okay.
All I'm saying is the team got better. So
that's true.
Listen,
and how many other teams got better?
No Super Bowl team has returned all their starters ever.
And we played this isn't about the Bucks. Let me just say we played in a COVID season. We didn't have full practice, full camp. Now we're about to have one with that same team plus more.
Look, all I'm saying is you didn't have everything. Nothing went normal, and you had a guy in his first year in a new scheme, in a new system with new players around him, and you still managed to win a Super Bowl. It's looking good. By the way, for anybody watching at home right now, our current subscriber count on YouTube is 369, which is nice, but we want more. We would definitely want more. And so I dropped a pinned comment down there to our YouTube channel throughout the entire stream. If you join and you come join the family, you come subscribe to the channel, we got a little special surprise that we're going to be playing for you. So it's going to get fun in here. And so come join the family, come subscribe to the channel, and maybe be a part and come get that little come set off the goal horn maybe. Let's get a little rowdy and let's do things the right way. But yeah, man, Tampa Bay Lightning, man. This is Matt. I know you brought it up yesterday. You brought it up, and I don't know if you were joking or not. I know you talked about Tampa Bay being goated, but whenever you're talking about it, you're talking. I saw somebody ask. You and I were talking about how you saw a post yesterday about a dynasty. Is Tampa Bay a dynasty? And people were saying no. Isn't a dynasty? Does a dynasty really require more than 2 championships, or where do we cut off dynasty? What's the definition of a dynasty here?
Well, after further review, I kind of found that it is 3 or more.
Is it 3 out of 5? Like that's considered a dynasty, as if you can get.
Yeah. I mean, 3 rings in a certain span, like 5 years, would be considered.
Yeah, that's how I always thought it was.
Yeah, I think the Lightning are very close, and what we do this offseason will be very telling as to where we are next season, because the whole cap situation, and we have to get under that threshold now. Kucherov's done with surgery and all that, so we have no excuses now, I guess you could say, as to why we can go over the cap. So we have to figure that out, and I don't hate our odds at becoming a dynasty, at winning a 3rd championship, but technically by definition, we are not yet a dynasty, but out of all the teams in sports right now, I think we're the closest to it. So
feels good. Let's talk about, so obviously with hockey, the season's wrapping up and everything such as that, but there's going to be a big difference next year. There's a whole new team involved. We're going to have the Seattle Kraken. So let's talk a little bit about the expansion draft and everything like that. Obviously, the last time it's happened recently, we saw the implementation of the Vegas Golden Knights, and they came out guns blazing. They came out and made a statement, came straight out. Stanley Cup appearance in the first season. If I'm not mistaken, has made the playoffs every year as a franchise so far. Obviously, only been about 3-4 seasons so far, but they have done phenomenal. With a lot of situation in which that teams are trading them draft picks and everything such as that just to try to protect extra players and try to protect other players from going on in Seattle, taking whoever it is. But typically that's not the case. Typically you don't see these new teams come out and perform so well. So Jamil, I'll start with you first. Obviously we don't know who's protected right now. We don't know everything like that for the expansion draft. But do you have high hopes for Seattle, or do you think that the Golden Knights may have set the bar a little too high for a new upcoming team?
I think Seattle's a chance to be decent, but I don't expect anything like Vegas. I think Vegas set the bar as high as you can for an expansion team. I think it's really rare for a team to do something like that. I mean, let's be honest, Vegas, they got a gift with Marc-Andre Fleury falling in the lap. You get one of the top goaltenders in the league to come to your team off rip, and you're already in a stable situation. Then you have no cap. You're able to trade for guys like Max Pacioretty and Mark Stone, and then that sets yourself up to go get a guy like Oxford Changel this offseason. I don't think it's going to be that easy for Seattle at all, but I think expectations need to be a little bit tempered down for them, but I definitely think they have a chance to compete because, I mean, Vegas showed that you can compete off rip if you just get the right pieces. So we'll see if Seattle can go and have a good, base draft. I think hockey is the best draft to set up with a good base team, though, because football, I mean, you're not going to get a nasty quarterback unless you have the number one pick. So until you get that, you're not going to be gross. And in baseball, you use so many needs on your team that it's impossible to get a team to compete off rip. Whereas in hockey, you get a couple good top forwards, a good defenseman, and a rock solid goalie. You're competing for a playoff spot. So we just got to see how the draft breaks them and see if they can maybe go and get a big fish, like some players that want to get traded this offseason, which we'll probably talk about in a little bit.
Now, I don't know the protection rules and everything such as that. I know you can only protect go ahead, Matt.
I have them here.
Perfect.
So rules for protecting players. Teams have two options. You can either protect 7 forwards, 3 defensemen, and a goaltender, or 8 skaters being forwards or defensemen, however you want to, put it, allocate it, and one goaltender. So there's plenty of unprotected talent out there. But I believe most teams will go with these 7 forwards, 3 defensemen, and 1 goaltender.
I thought it was 6 and 3, but 7 makes me feel a little bit better. Obviously with the cap situation that the Lightning are going through and everything such as that, we have a lot of talent. We are one of the deeper teams, obviously, back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. But that it's kind of scary to think about just because one of those pieces is gone. And I don't think it's kind of going to be like a Vegas situation in which we give up a Jason Garrison, a guy that's typically, a bottom 6 defenseman for us at the time, an aging veteran, everything such as that. It may be an aging veteran, but right now our aging veterans are very impactful on the team. Whenever you're looking at them, because if you only protect 3 defensemen, right now we have a lot of young upcoming players, and we have 2 very good older established players that. It kind of concerns you where you want to go, because right now, if you only protect 3 defensemen, you'd imagine you're going to protect Hedman, you're going to protect Sergachev, and then where do you go from there? Do you take McDonough and his cap, but take the experience? Do you take Cernak and his potential, and because he's a young and upcoming great defenseman, and he would flourish over there in a new system where he's maybe the guy or maybe just a top line guy. And then it comes down to the 7 forwards in that case, and then who do you protect there? Because we got the whole talk, the talk and the expectation has always been Tyler Johnson. Tyler Johnson's been the odd guy out for a while due to cap situation. He's from Seattle, from the area, and everything such as that. So it almost lines up to be too good to be true, but. I mean, it just seems like with only protecting 3 defensemen, we might be in a rough spot. And Matt, did you see? Is there a rule about taking multiple players from the same team by chance?
No, yeah, you have to select 1 player from each team, excluding Vegas. So it's just 1. You've never been able to take more than 1 from each team. I think it's written that it's Tyler Johnson. Like I'm very strong to the point where I'd put money on it that it'll be Tyler Johnson. He's only 30. He has the championship experience. He's a two-way guy. He works hard. We saw him through the playoffs. He had a great playoff. But don't forget, the same season in the regular season, we waived him as a cost-cutting measure. Really, we're trying to.
We tried so hard to get rid of him.
Yeah, and it's nothing against Johnson. Right, and it's nothing against Johnson, but it would make the most sense. I don't see – there's a lot of good defensive talent elsewhere with other teams, names like Nick Leddy, Devon Taves, that are possibly picking for other teams, for the Islanders and the Avs and so on. So I don't think the Kraken would go defenseman here for the Lightning. And then you said, Cap, do we save McDonough or Chernak? Ideally, you'd protect McDonough just because of he provides so much more value to the team. I know you're trying to lower Cap, but Johnson will help. Whoever is taken will help no matter what, at least to an extent. But yeah, I'd like to think it's Johnson. If they take a defenseman, it is what it is. I don't think we'll struggle that much, but you never know until it happens.
I completely agree with you in the fact that I hope it's Johnson. I don't hope to see Tyler Johnson leave, but at the same time, I also don't mind as much as McDonough. And my stepmom's down here in the comment section chiming in. Can't get rid of Mac yet, at least, or you can't get rid of Mac, at least not yet.
Exactly right.
And then she agrees with Tyler Johnson. And then, like you guys mentioned, didn't we already try to put him on waivers twice? Yeah, exactly. So hopefully everything can work out in that favor, because it really is written in the stars being the hometown guy coming and joining, the new team out in Seattle, being from Washington. And he could honestly be, with the championship experience, he is a veteran at this point. He's a smaller, scrappy guy, but I mean, it's one of those, if he can find his groove, we've seen him get hot. We've seen him get hot in a playoff run before.
He was Braden Point before Braden Point.
He really was.
Yeah. He was Braden Point when he was on that line with Palat and Kucherov. He was going crazy, and then he got hurt, and then we lose the Blackhawks. Yeah, triple line was crazy. But honestly, I think Seattle knows we want to get rid of him, so they're going to pick someone else and then just trade for him. They know we want to get rid of him, so why would they pick him when they know we're going to get rid of him at some point? We're either going to cut him or trade him, and they have a better chance of getting him somewhere else. And I'm not 100% sold that we keep McDonough, to be honest.
They wouldn't trade for him because you're a new team. Why give up your draft picks for a 30-year-old forward?
Because we want to get rid of him so bad, we're basically going to throw in something else to get rid of him, like how we tried to this year. I think that's something they could easily do.
That's the thing I was talking to you about yesterday, Matt, with going with Cirelli, because that's another player that I could see them.
Cirelli goes, they're easily picking Cirelli.
What's that?
If Cirelli doesn't get protected, they'll pick him.
Well, of course, but I'm saying, like, if we do protect him, and so it could be a situation where he's not available for free. That is, and then you work it out. But I mean, there's so many players, there's so many impactful players on the Lightning that if somebody gets taken and it's not Tyler Johnson, it's gonna be kind of confusing. I mean, even Tyler Johnson's an impactful player. He's just not what he used to be because of Braden Point. It's all just kind of like the next man up mentality, and everybody's been filling voids. But now, obviously getting the new team, it's gonna cause for a little bit of riff. And you said that they don't. Vegas doesn't have to give one up.
No, it's every team except Vegas.
Well, that's convenient. Why can't it be every team but us? But no, understandable. Being a new team themselves, I don't think they're going to be in a situation in which they're going to be like the Capitals when they first joined the league, walking away with like 8 wins. But I also don't know if they're going to be in the Stanley Cup like Vegas was. But this is exciting. I like seeing the NHL expand because I want to see all sports expand. I'd love to see how an expansion draft works in the NFL. I'd love to see how one works in the MLB. I'd love to be able to see all of this, and I haven't, at least not in my lifetime. And if it wasn't my lifetime before I understood anything. But no, this is a really cool experience. And now the second time you're getting to see this as a hockey fan, to see the NHL kind of bud out and expand its ways. It's getting past just a Canadian sport, and it's making its way throughout America. And I think it's probably one of the higher growing sports out here in America, or at least I'd like to think so. It's an experience. And I know on ESPN just a couple of years ago, the Tampa Bay Lightning were voted as the number one fan experience in sports in the United States. And that was 2-3 years ago before a cup. That was in 2019 or 2018. I'd have to look that up, but yeah, I think they were up there with Carolina, the Carolina Panthers, and like the Green Bay Packers, and like Boston Red Sox or something like that. And so to be up there, especially as a hockey team, to be mentioned in that, but there is something about the atmosphere in Tampa whenever they say whenever it's about hockey, because for not being a hockey town, it's quite the experience. Not gonna lie, but yeah. Anybody watching, anybody who is here, again, if you the pinned comment is to our YouTube channel. If you go ahead and subscribe, we're gonna play a little goal horn for you for being a new subscriber, which is kind of badass. But also, if anything, we'll play it when we roll out. But if you have any hockey memories, any hockey questions, or anything such as that, feel free to leave them in the comments section. But yeah, we can keep it rolling. Do you guys have any like bad hockey stories about going to a game and it just going like absolutely abysmal? Because I can think of one off the top of my head, and it's a memory for sure, and not in a bad way memory, but the game was just so god awful that like, what's the worst blowout you've been to? You go to a game and just watch us get absolutely stomped on. Matt, I'll start off with you.
One blowout. Well, my very first game, early 2010s. Lightning aren't really good yet. I think we lost like 4-5-1 to the St. Louis Blues. Our only goal was from Brendan Mickelson, who was a defenseman who didn't play very long in the league. Unique name though, so it sticks by me. That was one. We lost I don't even remember how the game ended because I went with my friend. It was a game against the Avalanche, I believe, and it was also the same night of the 2019. It was a 2019 ALCS against the Astros, and it was, what was that, game 6 or 7, whichever one the Yankees lost. The walk off from Altuve. We were on. It got to a point. It was like 5-2 or 5 something early. And we were, there were more important things for me at least. So we were I was on my phone, honestly, just watching the Yankee game. And it got to that point. I can't remember if we stuck through the whole game. I'm pretty sure we did. I'm usually not that guy to leave early. But that game got ugly fast. I don't even remember the final score of it. I just know how that Yankee game ended because that hurt far more than any Lightning loss. But I've seen some rough ones, but I've seen some really, really good games too.
Jamil, you got a really bad game experience that you went to?
I'm trying to think. I know I've been there for like at least 1 or 2 bad ones. I think the worst one I've been to was like a 5-1, 5-2 defeat. Those were never fun. Never fun.
No.
I went to, and this is probably the worst hockey experience I have, and it was a great time. It's a great memory. Everything. It was fun. Don't get me wrong, but it was so not worth the commitment. So during the Eastern Conference Finals one year, we were playing the New York Rangers, and the New York Rangers were here in Tampa, and we were student rushing the game. Me and my 2 buddies, Tom and Keeler. We were student rushing the game, and to student rush a playoff game, it's completely different because you have to basically camp outside of Emily Arena. We got there at 4 a.m. in the morning for a 7:30 puck drop. And we weren't even we weren't the first people there. We were the second group there. There were 3 people in front of us. We were 4, 5, and 6 on our wristbands. So there was a group of 3 in front of us, and then we were the next group of 3. Tom legit had to. Tom was a grade ahead of us. Tom had to legit leave because graduation practice was the same day, and he had to leave because it was mandatory. And if you didn't show up, you couldn't graduate high school. So he had to go do that. So this must have been 2015 because he graduated a year ahead of me. And so he went out and he got his wristband. We saved him a spot. But, dude, we took coolers. We took TVs. We took an Xbox, a PlayStation, lawn chairs, blankets. I mean, we were ready to go, and we were ready to just camp there all day. Man, we stayed there from 4 a.m. I lost my voice during a news interview at 6 o'clock in the morning. This girl came in over, the girl from WFLA came over, tried to do an interview with us as fans and everything. And I was mid talking to her and my voice just cut out. And so I had to go the whole day without a voice, which was awful. I was sitting there trying to talk to people and I just literally couldn't even talk. Then we finally get the tickets. We're right behind the Rangers bench and they just stand the whole game. So you can't see anything. I mean, I couldn't see a thing. Not only that, so basically I sat there, I waited from 6 a.m. to 7:30. I waited 13 hours to watch a game like this up on the big screen, and we got blown out 5-1. It was so not worth it. I was, and of course, being in the playoffs and being June in Florida, it's not an experience. It's something that you'll never forget, but not for a good time. It was abysmal. Never forget the memory, but I must say I would have been really glad if I just didn't do that day. So yeah, that was probably the worst game, just because of just the expense and the buildup. Getting ready to 2015 was the year we went on to play the Blackhawks, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And the expense to finally get there, your first playoff. This was my second playoff game ever. I was already 0-1. Went to a round one game against the Canadians one year, and we got beat by. Hey, I think we may have been at the same game. I think we talked about this.
Yeah, lost 4-1. I think it was like game.
Yep. There we go. Yeah. That was bad. And then I later went on to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Rangers, and we got absolutely blown out on home ice. And that was the year I want to say that we set the record for the best home record or something like that. The Lightning were ridiculous at home, and then we just got absolutely stomped out after waiting 13 hours, covered in sweat, can't talk. It was bad. It was definitely not memorable, at least for a good thing. It will forever live on in infamy. Let's just say that. But right now we don't have anybody else asking questions down here in the comment section. You guys have any hockey related topics you guys want to bring up, or anything you guys thought about talking about? If not, we can we still got about half an hour. We can talk about some baseball or something. We can try to fill the void. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, the home run derby, all the competitors are out, so the bracket is set and ready to go. I mean, that's what we're talking about.
We did talk about the home run derby last time, tried to make our predictions, try to get players in. Did anybody get one right? I know we talked about.
We mentioned Olsen and Gallo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Matt said Soto. No one said Perez.
No,
because I mean, when you think of Salvador Perez, he's not typically a home run hitter. That was a shock move.
Watch him win.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that happened in the derby.
He's the only one I don't want to win, to be honest.
Yeah,
and that'll be why.
And there's no disrespect to him. There's just other people I want to see win over him.
No, I mean, yeah.
Don't blame you there.
I have no problem. Matt, you're gonna go crazy. Your two favorites are facing each other in the first round. You're gonna lose your mind.
Yeah, I mean, yes, didn't I say? I feel like I said Soto for.
I think you said you'd like to see Soto. I don't know if it was your prediction, but I think you said you'd love to see it.
Yeah, either way, I would love to see it. I mean, if they play the bracket the way they do on TV, starting it would be Ohtani versus Juan Soto, and that is, I think, the best matchup you could have out of the whole thing, unless it ends up, I don't know, I want to see Ohtani and Gallo maybe, and they're on opposite sides of the bracket, so it's possible. But yeah, I mean, it's going to start off with a bang. It's definitely a good way to get viewers early. Once you start getting to a potential Trey Mancini versus Salvador Perez final, if you aren't down with Mancini's great story, him coming back from cancer and all that, you're not really there for much. So it really could go either way with an exciting finish or a lackluster finish. But we're going to hope that Ohtani goes deep, or at least I am, because, that's my guy.
That's another reason you're watching.
It's one of them. It's definitely my top reason. Yeah.
I'm sorry, home run derby and Coors. I don't care who's in it. I'd be watching it regardless. And some of the people that are in there, I'm definitely not excited about. Salvador Perez was definitely the biggest shock, I think, out of the remaining spots. granted, he's having a season. Don't get me wrong, but of all people, Salvador Perez wasn't the sexy name that jumped right out at me whenever. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think whenever Matt released that Salvador Perez was going to the home run derby into our group chat, I think all three of us I think we all disliked that text. We were all just so disappointed. We were like, really? This is what we're getting? But I mean, there's typically, I mean, there's always one. Typically, it's the hometown guy usually, but that's one way to do it. So I know Ohtani and Soto are on one side, along with Salvi and what is it? Who's Salvi taking on?
Alonso?
It is Pete Alonso, and then Gallo is taking on Mancini.
Story.
Story,
yeah.
Is he? So it's Mancini and Olsen. Okay. Yeah. So that's one side of the bracket. I was kind of shocked that they didn't go 4-4 National League, American League. I wonder, is that new? Like, did they do 4-4 last year? I know they had Vladdy.
Typically, yeah.
Typically it's always split in half, and so whenever they announced that Olsen was in it, I thought they were done with the American League, and then Gallo came out, and I was like, what? Granted, I'm totally cool with having Gallo in there. I mean, Gallo, if he at least can time up a pitch, no matter how slow it is, it's gonna fly. But so looking at the bracket, see if I can find a picture of the bracket right here, and I can bring it up for everybody. Matt, let me get your opinions first. Who do you have on each side of the bracket moving on, and who do you have as your winner?
We already know that answer. Yeah,
I mean, my winner is pretty predictable, just because if you follow me on anything, you see him a lot on my feed. It's Shohei Ohtani. What he's done this season has been unbelievable on both sides of the ball. You can't really compare him to anybody. Even, he draws Babe Ruth comparisons, of course, but it's really not the same. He's a whole different animal, and I'm really hoping that he puts on a show. I'm very worried about what happens after this, because obviously many participants in the past have had like timing issues and even injuries coming from this, swinging too hard, stuff like that. So I really don't want him to get injured, because he's having a really, really magical season. But I do have Shohei as my winner. But if I had to paint the picture how we get to that point, Shohei beats Juan Soto. I'd say Pete Alonso beats Perez. Alonso has the Derby experience from 2019. Gallo beats Story. The hometown hero will not be the winner this year, because Gallo can just be a monster. This is kind of made for him. And then Olsen and Mancini. It's a good story, but I really, really like what Olsen can do. This is, I want to say, his first home run derby, if I'm not mistaken. And I really think this is something where he can thrive. So I would say Olsen. And then, obviously, Ohtani beats Alonso. And then I'm going to say Olsen upsets Gallo in a close one that could even go down to OT, because I think both of them have that ability, the big swings that can really rack up a lot. And then Ohtani defeats Olsen in the final.
Ohtani Olsen, with Ohtani taking the W. Which do you think is? Do you think Gallo Olsen probably would be your? You said that it's probably going to go into overtime. Do you think that's probably going to be like the most entertaining duo to watch?
I think Olsen tires Gallo out. Gallo tires Olsen out, and what Olsen does in the finals does not nearly reflect what he can do. Kind of like in 2019 where Vlad Jr. got tired. It is, the stamina can definitely play into this, because you're taking those daddy hacks. It takes a lot out of you. So, I think Gallo Olsen is the matchup of the tournament for sure.
Fair enough. Jamil, what are you looking at? Obviously, I'm sure you're a big Ohtani guy, but we know who the home Ohtani fan is on the network. So let's see your breakdown and your predictions of the home run derby.
I honestly think Pete Alonso is going under the radar. I think people are like, oh, he's back on the derby. That's weird. But the dude won the last one, and I think he has a good chance of going back to win this one. I know Matt loves Ohtani. I personally want Mancini to win just because of the story. I think that'd be great for him. But to break down the bracket, I'm going to go Ohtani over Soto. and I think that's gonna be the most entertaining one. I think Soto's flair with Otani's like that one guy that like he's funny, but no one like you're not like, oh, that guy's funny. He's like, nah, he's like you talk about him like, oh yeah, he's funny.
He's
like Otani's just like that guy. Like
he's cute.
he's cute.
He's okay.
He's wholesome. Listen, he's wholesome. I think that's the best way to put it because like he's not trying to be funny or anything, but he's just like,
adorable.
He's adorable. Exactly. He's like a little baby.
Yeah, he's a really likable dude. Soto's got the figure. I think that one's gonna be really good. Honestly, I think if Soto can beat him, I think Soto can go all the way because his swing's so nice.
I agree.
He ropes. I'm gonna go Ohtani over him. I'm gonna go Alonso over Perez. I don't think it's gonna be close. No disrespect to Salvador Perez again. I keep hating on him tonight. He's gonna find me. He's gonna block me. Gallo Story. I think that's gonna be the second most entertaining one of the whole night. Story's the hometown guy. I think he's gonna launch some nuclear bombs. But like Matt said, he said this event's made for Joey Gallo, and yeah, he knows what's coming. It's gonna be a floater. All he has to do is hit it, and it's gonna go. Oh, he might. Like I said it last time. Using him on the Breckenridge, he's getting one of the snow, man. He's gonna be an absolute tank. Olsen Mancini, I'm gonna go Mancini. Then I'm gonna go Alonso over Otani. I'm gonna go Gallo over Mancini. And then in an epic final, I'm gonna go Alonso over Gallo.
Oof. Alonso going back to back, like the Lightning. Hey, shout out! We've gone full circle. Good night, everybody. No, I really like the Ohtani Soto matchup, but I know that they rank it based off of like your regular season home runs and everything. That's how they come up with the seeding. And I wish we didn't have to see Ohtani Soto round one because I want them both to move on. I wish it was almost like random draw. Which I think it'd be more entertaining with random draw. I mean, I like it, but like, you know, in a situation like this with Salvador Perez having such a hot year, you get matched up Salvador Perez and Pete Alonso, who's already won one of these, and everybody's already riding off Salvi. Granted, I've never seen Salvador Perez take BP, but I mean, he's hitting tanks this year. But what does that mean? You know, I guess we'll see. But I actually, and I hate to say this for you, Matt, but I like Soto moving on in round one. I think that Soto, I think it's just a sweet swing. I don't know what it is about a lefty swing in Coors. Granted, Otani's got a nice lefty swing in Coors as well. I think that'll definitely be the overtime one. I think if you're getting a close matchup in round one, it's probably going to be those two over there. Sorry, Salvi, I can't do it. As much as I really don't want to see Pete Alonso win, I think he got the Mickey Mouse home run title. I still have Pete Alonso moving on. Joey Gallo, I think he stomps on Colorado fans, and I think Trey Mancini. I want Trey Mancini to win. Matt Olson's swing again is just kind of like too sweet, but hopefully they can find a way to pull it out. I need Trey to figure that out and at least move on out of the first round. So with Soto Alonso, I would go Soto. I would put Soto in the final. I think it's just I don't know if I'm just hot on Soto. I know he's not having a great year when it comes to home run production, but again, it's that swing. It's that grit. I think he's going to be a very entertaining guy in the Derby. He gives me 8-seeded Gary Sanchez vibes. Whenever he was in it in Minnesota, just sitting there popping tanks left and right. It doesn't matter because it's Gary Sanchez. It's kind of the same situation with Juan Soto. You know exactly who Juan Soto is. I think you know the pop that he has. And then whenever you get over to the other side, Gallo and Trey Mancini, it's got to be Gallo. It's really got to be Gallo. And then Gallo Soto final, I think you could see probably. I'm gonna go Joey Gallo. I think I'm gonna walk out with Joey Gallo as the home run champion. That would be amazing. He's big and he's hot. He is hot right now. If I'm not mistaken,
sure.
What is he? 10 home runs in the last 10 games?
In 10 games, yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean I just wish Schwarber was healthy. I really wish Schwarber was healthy. That's all it is, because then Salvador Perez wouldn't have to be there.
Schwarber would have been crazy.
I wanted Schwarber so bad. Shout out to Ramon, San Diego Studios, giving us a Lightning Schwarber card. But yeah, so I've got Gallo. Jamil, you said you had.
I want Alonso back to back.
Alonso back to back. That's
Tampa,
right.
Tampa boy, he's got to go back to back.
And then Matt's got Otani-san, the two-way Japanese import. So
I got to ride with him, yeah.
Yeah, of course. I would expect nothing less from you. So I'm proud of you for sticking to your guns and everything such as that. But, gentlemen, I mean, we can what else we got going on? I know we got the MLB draft coming up here soon. In fact, we're going to have we have officially confirmed an interview with somebody from Mississippi State, former or now a national champion. So we're going to have that interview coming up on our channel. So keep an eye out for that. I know we got another Barstool's own is going to be making an appearance. Shout out Matt, had a great time with that interview.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and for anybody watching, it'll be out tomorrow around noon. Take it with a grain of salt, and yeah, that's all I'll say. No, I had fun, but I'll admit it was a tougher interview for me. So if you see me sweating in there, ignore it because you don't see anything.
Just ignore the sweat. And then shout out. I know we're going to have some content coming up because our Jeopardy champion's right over here to my right. Shout out to this man. He's a successful title holder right now.
The block is hot right now.
Yeah, the block is hot for Jamil King when it comes to it. He is the king of Jeopardy right now. That is for sure. But if we don't have any final questions, man, I mean, we don't. I don't want to drag it out and stay here for 15 minutes, stay here and stare at each other. So, I mean, if you guys want to wrap it up a little bit early, we can wrap it up a little bit early if you'd like. Anybody have any final topics or anything you guys really want to talk about before we dip?
Well, I know you don't follow soccer, but Jamil, who you got this weekend, Italy or England?
I'm going to go with the Italians, man. I just feel like England has to screw it up. Coming home, everybody's hyped. Honestly, I didn't think Sterling got fouled on that penalty kick.
No, yeah, that was soft. It was.
I think he got touched briefly and then dove and then got the call. But bro, that penalty kick was crazy too. Schmeichel could have just grasped it.
He was
what happened. Yeah. That was crazy. I think Italy looks really strong right now. Obviously, I hope this game doesn't go to penalty kicks though, because I want the game in regulation where both teams give it their all for 90 minutes instead of having an overtime where one team tries to score and the other team plays for penalty kicks. I hope the final gives us a good 90 minutes. I think it's going to be like a 2-1 game. I think both teams will find the back of the net. But it's going to be interesting. Both teams have been stout on defense this whole tournament.
Yeah, England has played, I'll say, quieter than Italy has. It's going to be low scoring for sure. And yeah, no, that Sterling thing was not a penalty at all. I mean, it was soft and there was some good theatrics from Sterling. But I am, believe it or not, rooting for England despite my words. I would love for it to come home. I think that would be great for England. First Euro, first national trophy for them in quite a while. It's had to have been a couple of years now. I knew he would come in.
While we're talking about soccer, of course.
He doesn't say anything the whole home run derby. I knew as soon as I mentioned
he's got his own Mets player in there. We said he's going back to back. Didn't say a damn word.
This man has been such a pest. He's a big. You could tell by his name. He's a big Italian fan. We have
Look at the name, Salvatore.
I'll put the same comment again just to be petty.
We have $20 on this game. I'll say that. Me, of course, for the England and him for Italia. I don't know. If I'm looking at it realistically, it would make more sense if Italy won, just because England has been more keen on making mistakes. I didn't expect them to. The one goal they gave up to Denmark was a good free kick. So
that was a classic free kick.
But offense outside of Sterling has been a struggle. Sterling and Kane, I guess that is. They don't even get to pens without the own goal. Oh, not the pens. I'm sorry. They don't get past Denmark without the own goal. No. So, and barely making that penalty kick in extra time. I don't know. England definitely doesn't have as much momentum going in as Italy, if I'm being honest. But of course, I am hoping that England can string a couple things together. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a 1-0 finish, going either way.
I'm surprised the whole tournament that Southgate went with. Well, I know you don't know what we're talking about, but people that watch soccer do. I'm surprised Southgate the whole tournament played the defensive setup with Rice and Phillips next to each other. I thought going into that tournament he would play one and then play a guy like Grealish just as another roaming guy. I'm surprised Sancho only played in one game the whole tournament.
Yeah, I think I'm big on Sancho. It sucks that he's going to Man U. As a Chelsea fan, it really sucks. But
Bro,
but no, really, Sancho needs more playing time. They need to work better in the midfield because their passing is good, but they don't seem to gain as much ground. Yeah, they have more chances than Denmark. That's a given, but they're not going to be able to get a surplus of chances against Italy. Italy's going to shut that down. So they're obviously going to have to play their best game on Sunday. There's nowhere else to go.
they're definitely gonna need it. Lucky for them, they're playing at home, so they're gonna have the home crowd behind them. It's probably gonna be a crazy atmosphere out there. But they definitely need to do something. I mean, this is gonna be the toughest team they played by far. So if you haven't played a truly impressive, I take that back. They were impressive against Ukraine. But other than that, they struggled to put together a dominant performance, and they're not going to dominate Italy. So they're going to have to find a way to get a scrappy goal or a world-class goal from someone.
Yeah, this tournament, the way it's gone, it's been somewhat I can't call it an easy route for Italy because they had to get past Belgium and so on. I don't know. And Spain, of course. Thoughts on laser scandal? What's the laser scandal?
They were saying that they were pointing lasers in Schmeichel's face on the penalty. He still saved it too, which is the crazy thing.
Really? I didn't see. I have not read anything on that.
Yeah, the England's team is getting. I don't know if it's their team or like the whole England thing. So they're under investigation for that, for a national anthem thing, and then for I think like a racial abuse thing too. From that game.
Yeah, I mean England. Those fans. I know from the Prem. I mean, you're getting a racial abuse charge every week at some stadium across the United Kingdom.
It's crazy because half the team's black.
Yeah, I mean it's rough, and it's something, the whole say no to racism thing has not really worked out. That's just a campaign. What are you going to do? Can we talk about Phil Foden's hair? I mean, it sucks. It's really bad.
Bro, I don't know what he was trying to do before the tournament.
I don't know.
He needs to go back to what he had before when he gets back to Manchester, please.
Yeah, I don't know. That I don't want to say it like that is not the right hair color for someone like that. I just don't think it goes well with his skin tone. It doesn't look.
Where's this going?
Welcome back, Will.
Where's this going?
I don't want it to go too far. I just don't think it looks good on Phil. That's all I'll say on that.
Well, that's about enough from Matt for today. Okay.
I was this close to getting canceled or something.
Yeah, I figured I'd jump in right in time. I was just playing producer for a minute, keeping an eye on comments and everything, and I was like, I heard skin tone. I'm like, what is happening?
I was going to ramble myself into a beating from Jamil if it got too far.
Oh my God! All right, let's all calm down, and we'll do. You got to wrap it up per usual with a nice 30-second wrap up, or you know what? We got a little bit of extra time, so feel free to take a minute if you need it. Jamil, final thoughts after Stanley Cup, after everything, get ready to go into MLB All-Star break and the Euro final.
Final thoughts with Jamil King. Let's break it down. Obviously, back-to-back cups. We're super ecstatic. I'm excited to see what the front office does going into next season. We're going to have a lot of moving parts. We're going to have half of a new team on. A quarter of the team's going to be brand new. We're going to see what happens with that. Tampa Bay, Rays got to keep it up. We got to make some trades. We got to get back to that ship. Then the Bucks got to follow up, get back to another ship. And then Tampa's going to go crazy. I'm going to go crazy. We want all the ships. I might do one of those things where Jamil runs across America. I'm from here to California or something crazy.
You heard it here first.
Actually, I'll bike, not run.
All right, he'll bike. Bike works too. Matt, final thoughts.
My final thoughts. Congratulations to Shohei Ohtani for passing Hideki Matsui for the single-season home run record for a Major League Baseball player from Japan. Two of my favorite players of all time, those two. So it's nice seeing them hand in hand in the record books. Obviously, congrats to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Congrats to Ross Colton. You are beautiful. Right in the blue paint where you need to be. That's typically somewhere where we see Killorn or somebody else, but Colton was in the right place at the right time, and that mixed with a great performance from Vasilevsky brought us the Game 5 victory. I could not have mentally, maybe not even physically, handled a Game 6, let alone Game 7. The anxiety and panic I feel watching Lightning playoff games, especially the Cup, are unmatched in any capacity. We'll see what happens when the Yankees make another World Series, because I'm old enough to fully understand, not understand, but have emotions. When I was 9, I can't say I had that many emotions. So that'll be interesting when that comes. Hopefully it's soon. Yankees took 2 or 3 in Seattle. Are we back? No, we're not back. We still kind of below. We got shut out tonight 4-0. Let's make some moves at the deadline. Let's be buyers and not sellers. Screw, not anything else. The luxury tax. Let's go over it, because we're the Steinbrenner family, and that's what we need to do to win sometimes. If things somehow get worse than it is now, I want Boone out. I want Buck Showalter in. Buck Showalter or David Cohn. I like that. David Cohn has shown a lot of managerial promise based on the words he says on the Yes Network. He's the color commentator alongside Michael Kay, who's on play-by-play. Love the words that come out of his mouth. I'd love to see them in action if Boone keeps shit in the bed. So,
Boone come from TV too?
Yeah, he came from
ESPN, guys, man. Don't do that.
ESPN and the Yes Network are 2 different things. ESPN, man, is not a fan. Oh, also, NHL finishing up on NBC, the Tampa Bay Lightning winning the Stanley Cup is the final game on NHL for NBC, at least for now. They will move to ESPN starting next season, which I'm not looking forward to. That's clearly a basketball and football point. So I really wonder how coverage is going to go. I can't wait to watch the Stanley Cup Finals on ESPN News. It's going to be fun. It's going to be real fun. I'm dreading that. But those are my final thoughts. Thank you for the platform.
Hey, that's why we're here.
Well, do me a favor and tell Matt, just let the big dogs eat at top of the AL East. Just let the big dogs play, man. Y'all sit this one out.
What, the Sox? Yeah, they could eat.
Yeah, I don't think I need to say anything. I think he heard you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got it.
You want to hear my final thoughts?
Yeah.
Get used to hearing that, baby. Back to back, big rig 3-timer. That's all I got to say, because I hate baseball a little too much right now to talk about it. So hockey, I am on top of Cloud 9, and things are going great. Thanks to everybody who came and wanted to be a part of the comment section and everybody who got involved. We really appreciate you guys. Shout out Salvatore, shout out Tammy, shout out Brandon, Christy, Rachel, everybody who came and was a part of things. You guys make everything worth it, make going live a great time. And so we appreciate you guys there. And to next time, hopefully we'll have a little bit something else cooking up, and make sure you come and join us yet again on Thursdays every day here on the Coast to Coast Network on Facebook and live on our YouTube channel. And you can find us there as well at GMs for Hire on YouTube. But until next time, thank you all again for coming and being a part of it, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy.